After heartwarming cake incident at Gala, Black woman exposes Heiress and shuts down 4B deal. Maya Johnson stood at the edge of the gala, her pulse racing against the sparkle of glimmering chandeliers above. Dressed in a simple black dress, she felt like a sunflower among a field of roses. The elegant crowd swirled in sharp tuxedos and flowing gowns, their laughter echoing off the marble walls. Everything felt surreal: the fine cuisine, the dazzling lights, the whispers of a world she barely knew. But tonight, she was here for Aaron, her little boy with big dreams. The boy who deserved to witness a life beyond the confines of their small-town diner. As they weaved through the crowd, Maya felt the weight of her aspirations. Her heart swelled at the thought of what could be: an entrepreneur, a leader for her community, a beacon of hope for her son. Then chaos erupted. Little Aaron, brimming with boyish energy, dashed towards a massive cake that seemed to touch the ceiling. "Mommy, look!" he cried, eyes wide with wonder. But in a heart-stopping moment, he collided with a table, sending the towering confection toppling like a fallen star. In an explosion of icing and sprinkles, the cake painted Claire Vandermeer's pristine gown with sugary chaos. The heiress' face transformed from shock to fury. "What is wrong with you?" Claire exclaimed, her voice slicing through the clamor. Gasps filled the air, eyes darting toward Maya. The heat of embarrassment washed over her as she crouched protectively over Aaron, who looked like he might cry. I'm so sorry," Maya stammered, her voice trembling. While Claire's fury took center stage, an uneasy silence fell. It felt like the world shifted beneath Maya's feet. But as whispers of scandal rippled through the crowd, Maya's heart sank deeper into turmoil. She recalled the recent stories of Claire's family's impending $4 billion deal, a deal that could crush small businesses like her own family's diner. The very same diner that had fed her every dream. The weight of everything she stood for pressed down on her. Could she really stand here and let this deal happen? With every instinct screaming at her to retreat, Maya felt a spark ignite within her, fueled by the voices of her community, their struggles, their resilience. The same hunger that had driven her all these years now surged through her veins. "You're not going to ruin our community," she thought fiercely. Mustering every ounce of strength, she stepped forward, facing Claire. "This isn't just about cake. This is about lives. Your family's actions are threatening everything we've built." Her voice rang out, trembling yet determined. The crowd paused, eyes wide, breaths held in anticipation. Just then, as if prompted by the energy in the room, a wave of heads turned toward her. Shock turned to intrigue as murmurs fluttered like the fluttering leaves of autumn. They were waking up, realizing that beneath the polished facade of entitlement lay a real battle for dignity. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The tension crackled in the air as Maya fought against her tightening chest. She dug deeper into her heart, revealing the truth of her struggle, the community she cherished. "We're more than just a line in your profit margin. We're real people, facing real challenges every day." Maya's words soared as she challenged the deep-seated privilege festering within the gala. Gasps of disbelief mingled with curious nods. Could a simple mother really ignite a revolution among the glittering elite? The crowd leaned in closer, captivated by her passion, while Claire's veneer of superiority began to crack. With every heartbeat drumming in her ears, Maya knew this was just the beginning. Would she muster the courage to shatter the divide and fight for the future she and her son deserved? As the faces around her shifted from shock to understanding, one thing was clear: she wasn't backing down now. The room felt electrified, like a live wire waiting to spark. Maya could sense it, the energy swirling around her, the anticipation of each breath held tightly in a chest. Claire's expression darkened, eyes narrowing as if calculating her next move. But Maya felt emboldened. She planted her feet firmly on the ornate marble floor, her heart pounding like a drum. You think your money makes you untouchable, Maya continued, her voice steady and fierce. But we're not just the ones you pass by on your way to success. This is a fight for our lives. You running your empire doesn't just affect profits, it impacts families. My family. As she spoke, the hush in the crowd rattled with whispers, tumbling like pebbles in a creek. Some shifted uncomfortably, others nodded, their eyes widening at the force of her words. A woman in a sequined gown leaned in closer, captivated, while a man in a tailored suit scowled in disbelief. The contrast echoed Maya's own feelings, a mix of fear and determination, vulnerability and strength. Claire glanced over her shoulder, eyes scanning the crowd as if searching for an escape from the appalling scene unfolding around her. You think you can come here and ruin everything we've worked for? She sneered, her voice sharp like shattered glass. You're an outsider. You don't belong here. For a moment, the words hung heavy in the air. It was cruel, but they stung less than they once would have. Maya felt flames licking at her insides. She had spent too long allowing others to tell her where she belonged. Maybe you're right, she called back, voice rising. But you don't get to decide my worth. I've seen how hard my community fights every single day, and I won't let you sweep it all away. Heiress' tiny fingers curled around the hem of her dress, grounding her as his wide eyes stared up, full of concern and confusion. In that moment, Maya saw the love in his gaze, the innocence she must protect. She remembered her mother's words. You might be small, but your voice is mighty. Gathering her resolve, Maya turned to the crowd, searching their faces for allies, for hearts that beat in sync with hers. It's time to lift our voices together, she implored, her heart swelling with newfound purpose. How many of you have seen your businesses crumble because of greed? How many families have struggled while the elite indulge in lavish parties? One by one, hands started to rise. A voice shouted from the back, "We're with you." The crowd began to shift, nodding, murmuring agreement. An awakening was happening. As the energy built around her, a flicker of hope ignited within. But then, Claire squeezed through the edges of the crowd, her heels clicking like a metronome of worry. "This will ruin you," she hissed. Her smirk faded into something more menacing. With every spark of courage, Maya squared her shoulders. "No, it will start something bigger than me. Bigger than both of us." As Maya took a deep breath, ready to counter Claire's flickering intimidation, she felt an unexpected hand on her shoulder. Turning slightly, she met the gaze of a striking older woman with graying hair and fierce eyes. "You have our backs, don't you?" the woman asked, steely determination surrounding her words. Maya nodded, feeling a wave of strength flow through her. Before she could respond, Claire stepped forward again, preparing to unleash words that could shatter an empire or unite a community. What would she say next? What would happen to them all when the dust settled? The tension hung palpably, promising a tumultuous path ahead. The crowd waited, breaths bated, ready for the next move in this unpredictable dance. Would they stand together or would they bend like branches in a storm? Claire glared at Maya, her lips curling into an uneasy smirk, as though she were savoring the moment before unleashing a storm. The crowd shared the weight of silence, anticipation mingling with tension thick enough to slice through the air. Maya squeezed Heiress' small hand, feeling the warmth bleed through her skin as she readied her voice one more time. "You can try to scare me, but this is bigger than just you and me. This is about every person you've brushed aside. We deserve a seat at the table." Whispers erupted, a ripple of agreement that traveled through the crowd. The woman with the graying hair nodded, her expression one of fierce pride. "Let them hear us. We're tired of being pushed out." "Exactly," Maya exclaimed, emboldened by the energy surrounding her. "They need to know we will no longer stay silent. We will stand together, and we will fight for what belongs to us." Claire's eyes darted toward the gathering crowd, then back to Maya. There was fear in her posture, an uncharacteristic wavering of the entitlement that had always shielded her. "You think yelling will change anything?" You think these people will follow you? Look around. Her voice cracked, desperation creeping in. Maya opened her mouth, but before she could respond, a voice boomed from the back, a man with a deep, resonating tone. We are more than just pawns in your game, Claire. We are mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters. Every story matters. Maya's right, we're done being ignored. Gasps echoed throughout the crowd, and the ripple turned into a swell. Maya felt a sense of unity surge within her, a collective heartbeat that thumped louder than before. As people began to chant her name, she felt the walls of oppression start to crumble, her spirit soaring higher. Clara's composure cracked under the pressure, and she straightened her spine, determination mixing with panic. You'll regret this, Maya. You don't know what you're getting into, she warned, attempting to reclaim her authority. But Maya was done with fear. You don't know what it feels like to fight for your future. Her voice rang out, clear and fierce. We stand as one. The days of just following are over. We are the heartbeat of this community, and together we are unstoppable. With a pulse of chance, people stepped forward, a sea of defiance. They shouted, Maya, Maya, echoing within the grand hall like music that enveloped them. Erin's small hand tightened around hers, and she stooped down, looking into his eyes filled with wonder and pride. Mama, you're amazing, he whispered, and that simple phrase grounded her. For every person standing with her, for every family hurting, she would go to battle. A murmur began to pass through the crowd. What happens next? Someone asked. The curiosity lingered in the air, expecting a resolution even in the uncertainty. Maya rose back to her full height, chest filled with purpose. Next we stand united and demand accountability. We take back our stories and our power. Are you with me? Yes. They roared, voices merging in a powerful declaration that echoed within the very walls of the gala, sending shivers coursing through Maya as Claire's fury simmered. A glimmer of something dark flashed in her eyes. She was not finished yet. You may have this moment, she spat, but just wait, you'll see how low I can go to defend what's rightfully mine. The threat hung heavy, but Maya's heart raced with renewed strength. This was it. Their fight was actual now. They weren't backing down. She would face whatever came next, fiercely unwavering. The crowd surged towards her, a wave of resolve and rebellion as the echoes of their voices bounced off the marble walls. Maya realized that they had ignited a spark that even Clara's wealth and power may not extinguish. But the question remained, what would be the cost of their courage? What storm was about to break loose upon them? Maya braced herself as the night felt poised for something bigger beyond just silencing Claire. This was about forging a new path, one of resilience against insurmountable odds. Little did she know the real battle was just beginning, and it would demand more than all of them might be ready to give. The room thrummed with anticipation, the energy a thick pulse that coursed through the air and connected each person present. Maya felt it even in the tips of her fingers, an electric sensation that drove her forward. She could see their faces, her friends, neighbors, the ones who had chosen to stand beside her. And then, there was Claire, who suddenly looked more like a cornered animal than the untouchable heiress everyone feared. Maya inhaled deeply, steadying her breath. Claire, she said, her voice rising above the noise now. This isn't just a declaration. This is our truth. Your empire is built on us, on our backs. You can try to intimidate me, but it's over. The crowd erupted once more, cheers mingling with shouts of yes. And together, there was no turning back. The fear that had once held them tightly was starting to dissipate like smoke in the wind. Claire took a step closer, an unsettling smile tugging at her lips. You think your little movement means anything? The world isn't so simple, Maya. I have connections, resources. You're playing with fire. Her laughter rang hollow, and though it was meant to diminish Maya, it only fueled the flames of determination in the hearts of those surrounding them. What fire? Maya shot back, her voice stronger now, slicing through the tension. We're the ones bringing light into this darkness. This is a fight for the future. She noticed a group of youth in the front row, their eyes wide with admiration and inspiration. She had to ignite something in them, a fire just waiting to break free. Suddenly, a man stepped from the crowd, a familiar face. Victor, the community leader, his silhouette both commanding and familiar. Listen up. We've endured for too long. No more empty promises. No more shadows. It's time for action. His words landed like thunder, and a wave of people surged toward him, empathy and a sense of community rising to the surface. Maya glanced at Aaron, who raised his small fist alongside the crowd. She felt her heart swell. He believed in her. Then, Clara's faux bravado faltered. You don't realize the danger you're putting yourself in, she snapped, her voice trembling. Her facade cracked, revealing the fear that lingered beneath. Maya didn't flinch. Danger? She shook her head with a fierce grin. This isn't danger. It's liberation. It's time to dismantle the lies you've built your life upon. The room vibrated with energy, words churning like a flood. Maya's confidence soared, powered by the solidarity around her. And if you thought you could silence us with your threats, think again. We've found our voices, and they are louder than your intimidation. The crowd erupted into chants again, shaking the foundation of the gala. A chant that resonated, "We will rise," echoed through the ornate hall like a battle cry. Amidst the chaos, Claire's expression shifted. The turbulent emotions in her eyes spoke volumes of her internal war. The heiress had always seemed invincible, but now, under the weight of Maya's words and the crowd's unity, cracks formed in her armor, and just when Maya thought Claire might back down, the heiress raised her chin defiantly. You think this will end here? You have no idea what I am willing to do to protect my legacy. A chilling promise lingered in the air, sending shivers through the crowd. Claire was ready to go darker than anyone imagined. Maya's heart raced, uncertainty trickling in as she faced the potential backlash of their uprising. She had ignited a movement, yet now shadows began to creep back into their light. This was more than one fight. It was a war for their lives, for the futures that lay ahead. In that moment, her resolve tightened. If they had the strength to stand together, they could face anything. However, as the crowd continued to roar and Claire's dark smile grew, Maya felt a tiny seed of doubt. What was Claire's next move? Did they have what it takes to withstand the storm she was about to unleash? The uncertain future loomed like a shadow over their victory. Maya knew they sprinted into battle, but were they ready for the reckoning that awaited them? The energy in the room shifted, morphing from the fervor of celebration to a tense stillness, caught between what had just happened and the unpredictable outburst that lay ahead. Maya felt it in the pit of her stomach. The crowd that had once surged forward with purpose now seemed to hold its breath, waiting for Claire's next move. Maya, Victor's voice cut through the tension, filled with urgency. We can't let this moment slip away. We need to plan our next steps carefully. His eyes burned with intensity. Every word weighted with the consequences that hung in the air. Maya nodded, but she couldn't shake the unease creeping in. The adrenaline that had surged through her moments ago began to ebb, replaced by a gnawing worry. What would Claire do? Claire stepped back, her composure slowly resurfacing. She swept her gaze over the gathering crowd, eyes narrowing as if calculating her chances. Do you really think this is it? You think you can just band together and strip me of everything? The mockery in her tone dripped like poison, but it was underpinned by deep-rooted fear. Maya took a breath, willing her voice to remain steady. We don't need your approval, Claire. We are building something real, drawing strength from one another. You can't fight that forever. The tension in the crowd transformed into something more potent, a potent mix of hope and fear. People shifted restlessly, adrenaline still rippling through their bodies, sparking conversations and gathering murmurs. But at what cost? Claire shot back, her voice sharper, more frantic. I want to just sit back while you tear apart everything I've built. You're making a dangerous enemy. With each word, she punctuated her threats with a wave of her hand like casting spells. Maya's heart raced. Was this declaration of war just an empty threat? Or did Claire really have something brewing beneath the surface? The thought sent a shiver down her spine. Would the community risk their lives in this fight for freedom? I'm willing to bet you underestimate us, Claire, Victor added, standing firmly next to Maya. You're hiding behind fear, but we're collectively rising stronger than you think. He gestured to several young people in the crowd who stood confidently, fists raised high. A realization sparked in Maya. Yes, they were frightened, but more than that, they were ready. The youth, the single mothers, the fathers fighting for their families, each individual brought unique stories and struggles. Together, they formed a united front that was far more significant than Clara's wealth. Clara's expression flickered, annoyance giving way to an almost panicked calculation. You'll regret this, she warned lowly. What I can unleash will make you wish you had stayed silent. Maya felt a swift determination take over. And we will be ready, she declared, feeling the warmth of the crowd as support. No more silent suffering. We will stand together against whatever darkness you think you control. A loud cheer erupted among the crowd, electrifying the air once more. Together, they shouted, a symphony of voices affirming the bond that was forming. It was a sound, strong and persistent. But amidst that vibrant energy, a fleeting thought gnawed at her. Could they endure the storm that Claire was willing to unleash? As Claire turned away, her demeanor changed slightly. It was less confident and more volatile, as if she were wrapping herself in a cloak of desperation. That gave Maya pause. Was this heiress who had always held power now losing her grip? Don't celebrate just yet, Claire called back over her shoulder. More than you know is at stake. And when the dust settles, you'll see where loyalty truly lies. A heart-stopping silence fell over the crowd. Had Claire just thrown down the gauntlet? Or was that mere bluster? Maya's eyes scanned the faces of her friends and neighbors, worry, determination, and defiance all mixed together. In that moment, they realized the fight had escalated. They were in deeper than ever before. What would Claire's next move be? And how ready were they to meet her challenge? Head-on. The stakes had shifted, and the clock was ticking. But as long as they stood united, that glimmer of hope remained. Who would falter first in this brewing storm? Maya's heart raced, the crowd's energy swirling around her like a tempest. It was exhilarating and terrifying. She exchanged glances with Victor, who nodded slightly, determination shining in his eyes. They could feel the swell of loyalty among the people. And yet, in the depths of her mind, a flicker of doubt gnawed at her. Would Claire truly retaliate? The atmosphere was electric, crackling with uncertainty. People were still murmuring, processing the weight of Clara's threat. Maya opened her mouth, ready to lead them to action. But the weight of fear held her back momentarily. Hey, everyone, she finally shouted, her voice slicing through the tension. This is our moment. We've faced enough. We cannot fold now. Look at each other. All of you, this is us against tyranny. Together. A wave of cheers erupted anew, rallying everyone closer. The fear shifted, thickening into a resolve that electrified the air. Young voices joined in, amplifying her message. The energy rose, reverberating from the core of their unity. But just as the cheers echoed, a sudden commotion arose at the entrance. A figure pushed through the crowd, a fierce determination radiating from her. It was Mia, the fiery single mother whose eyes sparkled with raw passion. Maya! Mia shouted, her voice breaking through the chaos. The time is now. We can't let fear snuff out our fire. The crowd responded, their voices harmonizing as they focused on her. Mia took a deep breath, her composure steadying. I know her. Claire has a game plan. One that involves sabotaging our efforts. We need to hit back. Not just that, we need to expose everything she is hiding. There's too much at stake. Maya felt the surge of strength within her swell. You're right. We can't just wait for her to strike. Victor stepped forward, eyes alight. Let us gather information. There are enough of us to dig into her connections, the things she wants to keep hidden. We have to make our voices louder than hers. The idea took root like a fire igniting dry wood, spreading quickly through the crowd. Each person began brainstorming, excited whispers blooming into purposeful conversations. They were strategizing, plotting their next moves like a well-oiled machine. Maya felt exhilarated, seeing the shift in their stance. What had begun as a confrontation was now blooming into a crusade. Plans coalesced as figures coalesced around Maya like protective satellites orbiting a bright star. "Maya, we're going to need your story too," Mia chimed in, bringing everything into sharper focus. "You need to make your voice heard like never before. Your truth could be our strongest weapon." The crowd roared in agreement. Maya closed her eyes, heart throbbing in her chest. She was scared. Would coming forward place a target on her back? But casting the doubts aside, she opened her mouth. "If we bring our pain to light, Clara's empire will tremble. Let us spill the truth, our truth, and show the world what we want to let them silence anymore." With each empowering word, the crowd rallied. Laughter erupted, mingled with shouts of encouragement, filling the air with newfound determination. Yet, a lingering thought tugged at Maya. What if revealing her story meant exposing herself too much? But as the intensity built, a fierce courage took hold. "We're doing this," she affirmed, locking eyes with Victor and Mia, their faces both laced with fear and resilience. She sensed they were all in the same boat, driven by the possibility of change. But as the voices around her swelled with energy, deep down, she sensed something darker was approaching. A chill traced its way down her spine. Claire wouldn't take this lying down, and that simmering threat hung thick in the air. The question lingered, heavy and unspoken. How long would they have before Claire would strike back? The tension settled amongst them like a dark cloud, heavy with the promise of a storm. Maya took a deep breath, steeling herself. It would only be a matter of time before Claire made her next move. And they needed to be ready. What was Claire truly capable of when cornered? The clock ticked methodically in the background, each low sound echoing a reminder that in this high-stakes game, nothing was guaranteed. Would they be prepared for what came next? Maya felt the weight of every heartbeat, felt it resonate through the gathering. As she stood surrounded by hopeful faces, her mind raced. The crowd was energized, but so was her fear. With the knowledge of Claire's ruthless nature hanging over them, every whisper and giggle felt like a thin layer of ice covering volcanic tension. "Listen up," she called, her heart thumping louder than her voice. "We need to come together not just in spirit, but in action. This isn't just about my story, this is about every single one of us." The roar of agreement swelled again, but she could feel the urgency prickling at the back of her neck. They had to be strategic, or they risked facing a retaliation they might not recover from. Victor stepped forward, his commanding presence bringing everyone back into focus. "We need to gather intel. I suggest split up teams, some on social media, some at community centers. We'll need eyes everywhere." Maya nodded, the spark of leadership igniting within her. "And we can leverage our own stories. Get recordings from the community. Let us compile evidence of everything Claire's done to hurt us. The world needs to know." "Exactly," Mia chimed in, leaning into the energy. "We each have a voice, and when we combine them, we become a choir of truth. We can drown out her lies." Within moments, groups formed, all faces alive with determination. They grabbed their phones and notebooks, some even pulling together makeshift team badges from scraps of paper. Maya watched it all unfold, warmth blooming in her chest. Yes, they were divided by roles, but united by purpose. But as the energy surged, so did a low hum of unease in Maya's gut. What if they succeeded? What repercussions would follow? Claire was not just an opponent. She was a predator, skilled and cunning. The memories of Claire's past manipulations were vivid and cold. Maya swallowed hard, pushing the doubts deeper as teams surged forward. The air crackled with motivation. Yet, Maya lingered, glancing around to Victor, who caught her wary gaze. "What's wrong?" he asked, stepping just inches closer. "I can feel it, Victor. Something isn't right," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's like the calm before a storm. We need to be ready for her retaliation. I just don't know what she is planning." Victor placed an understanding hand on her shoulder. "We'll be ready. We have each other, and that counts for more than you know. Keep the faith, Maya." Maya smiled faintly, though her heart still raced. "Okay." The teams scattered like seeds in the wind, and she took a deep breath, preparing to join the fray. She began gathering her own notes, crafting her narrative piece by piece. Her mind drifted through the memories that were both painful and empowering. Childhood dreams crushed, attempts at connections thwarted, and resilience forged through adversity. She felt stronger with every recalled moment. But then her phone buzzed, jolting her back to reality. She glanced down to see a message from an unknown number. She hesitated, heart pounding, before opening it. "Maya, I know what you're planning. You'll want to think this through. Claire is far more dangerous than you realize. I have information that might change everything." Maya felt the blood drain from her face. Who was this? And what did they know? Her mind raced with possibilities. Could this be a trap? Or was it a genuine warning? The loud chatter of strategizing crowd began to fade, replaced by the drumming of anxiety in her ears. She stepped away, urgency clawing at her thoughts. "Victor, Mia," she called, cutting through the sea of busy voices. When they turned, she held up her phone, her heart racing. "We have a problem." As they gathered around her, the weight of the situation sank deeper. Were they prepared for the truth this stranger would bring? And could Claire really be cornered in ways they hadn't anticipated? The air grew thicker with uncertainty as they huddled closer, the sort of tension that heralded disastrous storms. What had she gotten them into? And even more daunting, what new threats loomed that they couldn't yet see? Maya felt her breath hitch in her throat as she showed Victor and Mia the message. They leaned closer, their expressions morphing from curiosity to concern. "What does it say?" Mia asked, her voice a tight whisper. Maya quickly read it aloud. "It says Claire is more dangerous than we realize, and they have information that could change everything." Victor frowned, scanning the crowd behind them. "Do you think it's a bluff? A way to intimidate us?" "Maybe. But what if it's not?" Maya's mind raced. "If they got dirt on Claire, we could use that against her. But how can we trust this person?" Victor took a step back, rubbing his chin as if deep in thought. "We need to find them. If this is legitimate, it could give us the advantage. But we have to be careful. It seems like a risk." Mia nodded vigorously. "We can't ignore it. We have to know what we're up against." Maya felt her heart race at the thought. "Should we respond?" "Let's wait and see if they send another message," Victor suggested. "We need intel, and we can't jump without a plan." The weight of uncertainty settled back over them as the crowd buzzed with anticipation for their project. Maya tried to focus, but her mind kept drifting. Clara's face flashed in her mind, calculating, smug, and oh so unwavering. The woman could crush dreams and destroy lives without remorse. As they conversed about their next steps, Maya's phone buzzed again. This time she didn't have to hesitate. The same unknown number had sent another message. Maya opened it. "Meet me at the old gym. I can't talk here, but I have what you need. 8 p.m. Do you trust this?" Victor asked, his eyes piercing her with concern. "I don't know." She hesitated, the thought of the abandoned gym bringing a chill. "What if it's a setup? What if no?" Mia interrupted, catching Maya's gaze. "We can't back down now. We've come too far. And if we have a chance to hear what this person has to say, we should take it." Maya looked between them, feeling her resolve firm. "You're right, but we should go in groups. If one of us gets compromised, the others can still follow through." "Good idea," Victor agreed, his brow furrowing with concentration. "We should tell the others we're going for this extra intel." They gathered fragments of their team, explaining the unexpected development. The atmosphere shifted from hopeful to grim as they prepared to head to the gym. Maya could feel the anxious energy, but it also sparked something else, adrenaline combined with fierce determination. A knot formed in her stomach as they approached the gym's entrance later that evening. The old brick structure loomed like a ghost, shadows spilling from broken windows. She squinted into the dim light, heart pounding, as the door creaked open. "Stay close," Victor warned, leading the way cautiously as they edged inside. A cold breeze swept past them, ruffling Maya's hair. "Is anyone here?" she called softly, her voice reverberating off the walls. Silence lingered for a moment before a figure stepped from the shadows. It was a woman, her face partially hidden beneath a hood. "I'm glad you came," she said, her voice steady but laced with urgency. "Things are about to get much more complicated." Maya's heart raced in her chest. "What do you mean?" The woman's eyes were intense as she gestured for them to step closer and hear her truth. Just as she began to speak, an echoing sound broke through the air, a sudden commotion outside. "What is that?" Mia gasped, eyes wide in shock. The tension in the room thickened. Maya could feel the panic rising. This night was turning into something far more dangerous than she had anticipated. "What is happening out there?" Victor demanded, moving toward the door. The woman's expression hardened. "We may not have much time. If you want to take Claire down, you need to hear this now." Maya exchanged glances with her friends. The stakes had escalated. Would they learn what they needed to tear down Claire's empire? Or would the answers they sought put them at even greater risk? The air crackled with uncertainty, leaving Maya breathless. What would happen next? Why was there noise outside? Her gaze locked onto the woman's face, and in that moment, Maya knew whichever way they turned, they were headed into uncharted territory. And the long fight against Claire was about to get even more intense. The clamor outside intensified, cutting through the thick air of uncertainty. Maya's heart raced, every beat echoing her fears. She felt a tug of urgency. Time was slipping away. "Are we really going to stand here?" Mia asked, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and determination. "What is the commotion?" "I don't know," Maya replied, glancing at Victor, whose face was like a stone, showing little emotion but clearly weighing the options. "We need to at least find out what's happening out there." The woman stepped forward, lowering her hood just enough to reveal her sharp features and determined eyes. "Stay focused. Claire's people are out there. We can't waste time. If they find out you're here, it could ruin everything." Maya felt the weight of those words. This wasn't just about them anymore. It was about all the people Claire had crushed along her path to power. "Then tell us what you know," Victor urged. "We need to derail her plans." "How do we do that?" "Claire has a meeting tonight with influential supporters. They believe they're untouchable," the woman explained, urgency lacing her voice. "But I have information that can turn the tide. She's hiding something big, something that could ruin her reputation." "Like what?" Maya asked, leaning forward, drawn in by the woman's intensity. "It involves her connections," the woman continued. "The deals she's made that put others in danger. It's all about the money and power, and it's more than just company greed. Lives are at stake here." "What lives?" Maya pressed, feeling a sense of dread coil in her stomach. She had heard the whispers about Claire's dealings, but now it seemed more than just rumors. "People who stood in her way," the woman replied grimly. "There are stories of sabotage, threats, and worse. I have documents, records of everything, but it's south all at my place." Before she could finish, the noise outside morphed into louder shouting. Suddenly, footsteps approached the gym entrance, heavy and purposeful. "They're coming," Victor hissed, glancing toward the door. "We have to move now." The woman's eyes darted around the room. Then she made a snap decision. "We can't stay here. Follow me. I have a way to get out." With that, she turned sharply, motioning for them to follow. Maya's intuition screamed that they were heading into deeper trouble, but she followed anyway, the thrill of the chase coursing through her veins. They rushed through a narrow door at the back, leading to a darkened hallway lined with peeling posters and rusting lockers. Maya could hear the voices of men outside, their tone angry and demanding. "What if they catch us?" Mia whispered, her eyes wide with fright. "Stick together," the woman assured them, glancing back. "They won't expect us to be here." As they navigated through the rotting space, Maya tried to suppress the mounting panic. Every fiber of her being screamed that they were racing against time. It was as if they were caught in a web spun by Claire herself. Suddenly, the world around them lurched. Another noise echoed, a crash that rattled the very walls of the gym. The main entrance burst open, and shadows filled the doorway. "Don't look back. Keep moving," the woman urged, pushing them forward into a side exit, the door barely holding on its hinges. They found themselves outside, the chaotic night air hitting them like a cold slap. Maya took a deep breath, looking around for signs of escape, yet fear loomed large. "Where do we go now?" she asked desperately, scanning the dimly lit surroundings. "Safe houses," the woman replied quickly, urgency painted in her eyes. "We can regroup there and plan our next step." Maya glanced back, the looming threat chasing them, the echoing voices of Heiress men still resounding in her ears. It was clear. They were no longer just fighting a battle for integrity. They were in a war now, and as they darted toward what could be their beacon of hope, a cold realization hit her: if they were caught, the consequences would be dire, far beyond their understanding. Would they ever reveal the truth and save the lives caught in Claire's crosshairs? With every step into the unknown, the shadows seemed to grow closer, and Maya couldn't shake the feeling they were all running toward a storm brewing just ahead. The night felt electric, every darkened corner heavy with anticipation. Maya, Victor, and Mia raced along the narrow alleyway, adrenaline pumping through their veins. Behind them, voices grew closer, a vengeful chorus echoing Claire's fury. The shadows stretched long, wrapping around them as they sprinted toward the dim light at the end of the passage. "Keep moving," Maya urged, her heart pounding. The lantern's flicker ahead could mean sanctuary or another trap, but they had no choice but to press on. They reached the end of the alley and stumbled into a small courtyard surrounded by high, crumbling walls. In the center stood an old shed, its door slightly ajar and an inviting warmth leaking out into the chilly air. "In there," the woman commanded, her voice firm yet urgent. They dove inside, the wooden door slamming shut behind them. Inside, the atmosphere pulsed with a desperate energy. The space was cluttered with mismatched furniture and the remnants of forgotten treasures. A single dim light bulb swung from the ceiling, casting erratic shadows against the peeling walls. "Okay, breathe," Maya said, trying to calm the frantic rhythm of her heart. Victor and Mia nodded, their faces pale but determined. The woman turned, her fierce gaze piercing through the gloom. "We don't have long," she stated, voice steady. "Claire's people know you're here. We have to act fast." Maya inhaled deeply. This was it. Pivotal moment. "We need that information you mentioned, the documents," she urged, her fingers tingling with energy. "That's how we can bring her down." The woman nodded, her expression grave. "I'll get them," she said before darting to the far corner of the shed. She rummaged through a stack of boxes, pulling out a tattered folder that seemed to shake with secrets. "Are these what you need?" She held it up, commitment radiating from her every word. "This contains evidence of Claire's wrongdoings, her alliances and dealings that endangered so many lives." Hope surged within Maya. "This is our way to stop her." But before she could say more, Nathan, the fitness trainer who often worked with the community youth, suddenly joined them from the shadows. "What's happening?" he asked, eyes flicking nervously between them. "I just overheard. Claire's been making threats, digging dirt on you all." Maya's heart sank. "We need to counteract her moves. We don't have time to waste." "Let me help," Nathan said, urgency lacing his voice. "We can gather more people, expose every ounce of her manipulation. She deserves to be held accountable. It's time to stand our ground." Maya felt a swell of bravery. This was not just about her. It was about all of them. A community bound together, ready to face the storm. "We need to reach the press, start disseminating the truth right away," she suggested, her mind racing with plans. "Let them know we're not backing down." As they strategized, she could almost feel the horizon shift. The tension that once shrouded their resolve began to fade, morphing into a collective strength, as everyone nodded in agreement. "Yes, if we draw the media in and rally support, we can show Claire just how powerful we are when we're united," Mia exclaimed. Suddenly, the noise outside intensified. "They're coming," Victor hissed. Alarm washed over them, yet Maya felt an electric pulse of hope surge. They could turn this around. Everyone grab something. Reporters and cameras 1T beat our voices. Maya rallied, each word echoing courage. Within moments, they had gathered scraps of paper, old flyers, even the lighter materials they needed to spread the message loud and clear. The woman passed around the folder, eyes fierce. We can blow the lid off this. Let us take it to the streets. Outside, shadows filled the courtyard. They could hear voices approaching more clearly. Maya's heart raced, and she could feel the weight of their collective fear and determination. It's now or never, she declared. They burst through the door, a wave of defiance emerging. We have nothing to lose, Maya shouted into the night, conviction ringing with every word. Together, came the chorus. The energy escalated as they moved, a force of nature aimed directly at Claire's impending plans. They hit the pavement, urgency driving their steps toward the community center, where they knew others would gather soon. Maya's heart soared as she channeled every ounce of fear into a blazing determination as they approached. They could see fellow community members filtering in. Maya stepped up onto a makeshift podium, fueled by the fire igniting inside her. We are here to take our power back, she bellowed, arms raised high. We will stand against Claire. For every life she jeopardizes, we will make our voices heard. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the crowd, heads turning as they processed the urgency. Nathan stepped forward, joining her. Listen, we have proof of her wrongdoings, and we won't let fear silence our truth anymore. We are done being victims. Another cheer erupted, soaring skyward, igniting a revolution that felt electric. This is our fight, Maya cried, exhilarated. And we will rise together until every piece of this injustice is brought to light. The night air pulsed with commitment. Tears of hope sparkled in her eyes as she watched the faces of her community light up with understanding. They were ready for this fight. They were ready for change as they stood. A sea of voices merged into one. Maya felt the spirit of resilience wrap around her like a warm embrace, pulling her forward into the moment. They were no longer alone. Standing on the precipice of a new dawn, in that unity lay their power. Maya knew they would push back against the storm, and together, they would ignite a transformation. Let us go, she shouted, the crowd roaring in agreement, unwavering and strong. The battle was just beginning, but their hearts beat as one ready to take on whatever came next. And as she stood there, proud and fierce, she felt an undeniable truth deep within her soul. The change they sought had already begun. Their voices would not be silenced. Now was the time for the world to see what true unity could create. We've shared something powerful today. If this story moved you, if you felt the strength growing in Maya and her community, then you need to subscribe now. Don't wait not even one more second to hit that subscribe button. You want to miss what's coming next. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm and share the amazing journey of transformation with your friends. And absolutely, comment down below how this story impacted you. Your voice matters. Finally, be a true fan and share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation and feel inspired. Together, let us continue to spread the light.